It was summertime on the island of Soy. The engines of the narrow gauge railway were very busy delivering passengers and goods to their destination. Out of all the engines, Bertram, the old warrior, was the busiest, hauling trucks of coal and supplies in and out of the mines. He loved the peace and quiet of his line, but he didn't see many people. Sometimes working in a remote part of the island could be very lonely. Later, Bertram pulled into Crovan's gate. He was really delighted to see all the passengers, but Duncan was not delighted to see Bertram. "Keep your smelly freight away from my passengers," grumbled Duncan. "But it's only freight," chuckled Bertram. "Passengers and freight do not mix," puffed Duncan, and he wheezed away. Bertram watched Duncan leave the station with all his passengers. "I'd like to pull passengers," sighed Bertram, "just for a change from tourists and freight." Later, Bertram stopped at the edge of the forest. Children were all standing by one of the trees. "What are those children doing?" Bertram asked. "That's the old Sodor wishing tree," said Scarlotti. "They must be making a wish." "A wishing tree?" gasped Bertram. "How wonderful! Do you think it could make my wish come true?" "It might," replied Scarlotti, and he puffed away. Bertram rolled up to the old wishing tree. He took a deep breath and made a wish as hard as he could. "I wish I could pull real passenger trains like the other engines," he said. That evening, the Think Controller came to see Bertram. "Tomorrow, you will pull passengers," he said. "Thank you, sir," said Bertram happily. His wish had come true. The next morning, Bertram chuffed cheerfully in the Crovan's gate. When his passengers were on board, Bertram blew his whistle and put out of the station. But he puffed away too quickly. The coaches bumped into each other. Henry, who was waiting at the other platform, was surprised. "Go gently," he called. "You can bump freight, but you can't bump passengers." "Sorry," puffed Bertram. Bertram puffed proudly through the countryside. "Pulling passengers is a great job," he said. Meanwhile, Reneus was in the repair yard. He was being fitted with new tubes. But Reneus felt lonely. He was missing his passengers. The passengers were missing Reneus too. They were all having the bounciest, bumpiest ride they have ever had. When Bertram got back to the sheds, the Think Controller was waiting for him. "There have been complaints," he said sternly. "Passengers are not like goods. You must be gentle." "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," said Bertram sadly. Being gentle was very difficult. Then Bertram saw Reneus. He was looking really miserable. "My wish made Reneus go to the repair yard," gasped Bertram. This made Bertram feel very bad. The next day, Bertram had to collect his coaches. He tried his best to be gentle, but shunted the coaches so hard they bumped and bashed into each other. "Oh, oh, oh," they cried. "Be gentle." There were more complaints than ever. Bertram didn't want to pull passengers anymore. He wanted to wish everything back to normal. But when he arrived at the forest, he couldn't remember which tree was the wishing tree. "Oh no," cried Bertram. "Which one could it be?" Bertram didn't know, so he decided to wish on all the trees. "I wish I could pull Fred again," he puffed. Then he moved to the next tree and wished again. "I wish I could pull Fred again." The Think controller arrived bored on Duncan. "What are you doing, Bertram?" asked the Think controller. He was very confused. So was Duncan. Bertram told them all about the wishing tree. "Wishing trees don't run railways," said the Think controller calmly. "That's my job. Reneus just needed some repairs. He'll be back tomorrow." Bertram was delighted. The next day, Reneus came back to work. He looked as good as new. The passengers were very pleased to see him. Reneus beamed happily for the rest of the day. Bertram was happy to be back pulling freight again. At the end of the day, he stopped near the wishing tree. And even though the Think controller had told him trees don't run railways, Bertram wished he would never have to pull passengers ever again. Just in case.